Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Bob Rock, and this is the B Rock RC Show. Thank you again, everybody, for joining in yesterday for my first sort of introductory slash test podcast. I had some really good feedback from you guys. Thank you for all of that. I'll definitely be taking your crits into consideration and using that to improve on the show. With that being said, the podcasts aren't going to be broadcast every day. It's the time slot for the podcast is going to be Mondays, 5:30 Central African time, once a week. We're going to keep it once a week so it's not too heavy on everybody, and also it gives me time to get some nice content and do a bit of research and just do a better show for you guys. So that's going to be very, very interesting. For today, what we're going to talk about is there's a few things I want to touch on. One of them being a friend of mine gave me some feedback yesterday after the show, and he's somebody who's starting off in RC drifting, and he wants to know or wants a little bit of advice on how to get into the hobby without breaking the bank. So this is, it's quite an interesting topic to speak about, especially for beginners. We all started off somewhere. So it's been a long journey. A lot of it has been, for myself, a lot of it has been a bit of trial and error, a little bit of self-teaching. A lot of it has been advice from guys who I look up to. Also what affects the kind of gear that we use is the economic situation of where we are. Unfortunately, in SA, we are, for the lack of a better word, we are being pummeled economically everywhere. So the amount of spare cash that we have to spend on hobbies has drastically reduced because the cost of living is becoming more and more expensive, and so the amount of money that we have spare to sort of indulge in other cut short. So in SA, when it comes to drifting, we encourage everybody to use what equipment they have and to start off in the hobby. So when people ask me, Bob, I really love drifting. I like what you do, and I want to get into it, but I only have X amount to start off with, and most 95% of the time, that budget that they give me is really, really small. It's how can I put it? It's for an entry-level, all-wheel drive RTR car. So I'm sure you guys also know what sort of range that or what sort of models of cars that will give you. So my next question is: that's your budget. What are you looking to get out of drifting? What are you looking to do? Is it just socially? Is it competitively? What do you want to do? You must understand, when it comes to drifting, do it socially. Sorry about that. Like I was saying, no matter what hobby you get into, be it drifting or fishing or sports or whatever it is, you must maintain a certain level of commitment. You got to. you can't just say you want to do it socially and then you start off with a bang and you go in for a session or two, and then all of a sudden and then you slowly sort of fall off. Nah, man, that's not what life is about. You gotta get into it. If you're gonna commit to something, commit to it. And then if you find that it's not for you, then of course you can change it or leave it or whatever the case is. I always tell people who's coming into the hobby, allow yourself time to learn how to drift. Give yourself that chance to learn, to make mistakes and to learn how to drift. You can't get a new chassis with all the bells and whistles, or even if it's just an entry level sort of car, and you can't expect to get to the track and immediately get it right. You will not get it right at the same time. You got to give yourself the chance to learn, to make mistakes and evolve and grow. Otherwise, you're never going to enjoy the hobby. The next thing is keep an open mind. You may be already researching about setups and what all of these different things do, but you need to be with somebody who's been doing it for a while and who knows what they're talking about to assist you with helping setting up your car and getting things right. You can't go in there with a one-track mind saying that, oh no, but I've read this and I've read that and they say you must do this, and then you only want to stick to that. That's the wrong attitude. You got to go in with an open mind so that you can absorb all of the knowledge that's around you. Else you're wasting your time, really. Then you shouldn't ask anybody for help. Just go at it by yourself and struggle by yourself, and etc. etc. So to answer that friend of mine, his question was about, like I said before, what kind of gear, RC drifting gear, can somebody get? It's a bit difficult because you got to take into account your financial position, what your budget is, and what do you want to do? You socially, competitively. If you're going to do it socially, I would say go for what's within your affordability. Don't go wild and start buying all sorts of second-hand stuff and brand new stuff, and then eventually you don't even use 50% of all those stuff. So you gotta think about it carefully what you want to do, you know. The next thing, if you want to go in competitively and you're just starting out, welcome aboard. However, you must increase your budget. You can't go in with an entry-level budget and expect to get a competitive level RC drift car. You are going to struggle, and you're not going to keep up with the current level of competition that's out there. Locally, the level of competition has risen a hell of a lot because most of the people have went on to rear-wheel drive. So, and we've been taking a lot of advice and a lot of cues from our friends in Japan and Europe and the US, where a lot of the competition and a lot of high-level competitions occur. Not to say that our level of competition isn't any less. So if you want to go competitively, so you got to look at things like your Yokomo, Overdose, let's see what else. MST. Then there's Wrap Up Next with the conversion kits. got to look at those things. So again, I keep moving away from what this from what the question was. In SA, and I'm talking specifically about SA, I'll get to the other countries and my experience from them. So in SA, because of the tough economic situation, we tell guys, use what you have and go within your budget and get a drifter. So for those entry-level guys, you're looking at a TT01, or one less is a HSB Flying Fish, or one chassis I personally rate a bit higher is the Sprint 2. I know there's a lot of hate for the Sprint 2, which is a bit funny, but for the guys just getting into the hobby, it's actually a pretty decent. I've seen guys tune the Sprint up to quite a competitive level. A friend of mine, the guy that I started the club with, Llewellyn, he spent a number of years perfecting his Sprint 2 into a CS drifter, and he's been doing incredibly well with that. The guys in my club, they favor the Sprint because it's robust, it's easy to and there's parts available. It's a little more better than the TT01, so they enjoy that. Radios, geez, they love the Fly Skies, the GTB 3s, and remember, those are just entry-level radios, so you're not going to have the same level of guys competing years and years and years to come. So look at Futaba. Spectrum, not really. I'm not a big fan of Spectrum, because I did have a Spectrum before. Actually, I used one at Worlds, and although it worked, it wasn't really the best. yes, young. I'm talking about you, bro. I know you have a dislike for the Sprint. That's putting it mildly, but like I said before, the economic situation between us and a lot of the other countries, Europe, Japan, etc., it's vastly different, dude. It's vastly. Jeepers, sorry about that, guys. Somehow I lost connection there. Please, could I ask everybody that's watching, please share the link. Please, if you don't mind, please share the link. It would help to get the word out there and get more people listening in. So for the guys that just joined in as well, this is the B-Rock RC Show, a podcast for the drifter, by a drifter. I'd like to also reiterate the new time slot for the podcast. It's going to be on Mondays at 5:30 in the afternoon. That's 5:30 p.m. Central African time. So episode 2 is going to be on Monday. Just keep that in mind. Welcome, guys. Thank you for listening again. So like I was saying till I got cut off there, the economic situation between SA and a lot of most other countries is vastly different. So we're trying to get people to get drifters to come into the tracks and drift with what gear they have, and then introduce them into the more better equipment, the more competitive equipment, as they upgrade their skills and and get more interested into the hobby. Then that's how we get people to stay in the hobby and actually feed into the hobby. So which all means that there's more sales, there's more finance being pumped into the RC drifting community, and then the drifting community grows. So that's the way we view these basic equipment in SA. Use what you have, and we'll guide you from there and put you on the right direction. This is so we grab the attention of the guys, and they don't get scared off, because as we all know, competitive RC equipment is expensive. It is vastly expensive. However, if you save up a little bit and buy one time, these chassis, will last you like a lifetime. Because with drifting, you hardly break anything, don't you? Okay, you might pop a motor, pop an ESC. Servo is one thing that's that you would change over time, and a battery. What? That's about it, really. And then slowly you save up and upgrade your chassis, so things like that. Okay, so enough about all of that. I'd like to hear from you. I want your guys' feedback now. I want to go way back to when you guys started. What did you guys start with? What chassis did you begin your drifting with? Let's hear it. I started with an old beat up second-hand TT01, which this guy did a midship conversion just to get more angle and this and that, and geez, it was like a dog's breakfast. But it worked for a little bit, and it got me going. And then the more I got into drifting and I started watching the people around me, the more I realized that the equipment I had wasn't enough. So I upgraded slowly from there. So yeah, what have you guys started with? Let us know. And also, could I ask you guys, please share the link. This is Bob Rock on the B-Rock RC show. Thank you all for listening in again. I really appreciate it. Share the link. You can message me. Send in your questions. What would you like for me to talk about on the next episode? Inbox me. Post it on my on my wall. Just send me your questions. Let's see what it's. Let's see what you guys have to say. What you guys want me to talk about. Jeepers, Kerry, you're like ancient in the game. 14 years, jeepers. I'm only about 6 years in the game. But nice. Started off with the TT01. I know a lot of guys here in SA. A lot of the top guys, they started off with the TT01s as well, and have moved on. I know one guy who maxed out a TT01, and he's done everything that he's wanted to do or possibly do on the TT01. So very, very interesting. Nice. Well, I had a TT01, and then I had a Sakura Zero. I know it's a touring chassis, but I actually never ran it. And then I had a Devil Drift, which we know was a R31 clone. And then eventually, thanks to a very dear friend of mine, Michel from Netherlands, who helped me out, and he hooked me up with the Street Jam R31, and that was my first CS chassis. And after that, I got myself a D-like. What's the name of it? It's the all-wheel drive chassis. I can't believe I forgot the name now. D-like what? I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, it was the D-like all-wheel drive chassis. So that was my next chassis. I used that for a couple of years, and then in between that I got the YD2, which I'd been watching for a couple of years before I got it, and I had it for 1 year before I actually started before I actually put it together and started drifting with it. And then last year, which was Worlds, I actually started drifting with it properly. So it's been incredible. I haven't had much success with CS. I honestly, I struggled with CS. But once I switched over to rear wheel drive, it was, oh my God, I'm like, why didn't I do this earlier? You know, it was incredible. So yeah, let's hear more from you guys. What have you guys started with? How was it when you guys started? Chopper, man. What was the scene like when you started? Did you get the same amount of help? Did you have guys helping you out? What was where did you drift? Where did you start off drifting? Sure, love to hear about all of that. Welcome, guys. For those of you who just joined in, this is your man Bob Rock, and this is the B-Rock RC Show. It's a podcast for the drifters by a drifter. Just a little something different to what we usually come across, and I'd love to hear from you guys, get some feedback. Any questions you have, any advice you need, give me a shout, send me a message. Episode 2 is going to be in the new time slot, which is on Mondays at 5:30 Central African time. That's 5:30 in the afternoon, PM. So send in your questions. Let me know what you'd like to talk about on Monday. You know, it'll be very cool. Also, if you're listening in, please share the link. I'd really love to get through to more and more of you guys, especially internationally. That'll be really awesome. I see a lot of my friends here. What's up, boy? What's up, Nabil? Ibrahim, Darren, Kim. Oh my God! Guys, you have no idea how fantastic Kim Grande of a drifter he is. He is absolutely incredible. And when you meet him, you will never know that he's so highly skilled, so knowledgeable. And I think that's why his sort of team is called Stay Humble. He's absolutely humble, absolutely down to earth, and I got the chance to meet him when I went to Worlds, and he's somebody that I've looked up to for a long time for drifting. And jeepers, this guy is like even better when you meet him, and seeing him drift live was definitely one of the highlights of my trip there. So yeah, thank you Kim for listening in. Please guys, share the link as well. I'd like to get through to more people. What's up, Rayan? That's another one of our boys there in the SA who's drifting rear wheel drive. Another incredible drifter, up and coming star. I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of good stuff from him this year. Yeah, Jay. I also started, like I was telling the guys earlier, I also started off with a TT01, also in car parks, and eventually I met up with my good friend Llewellyn, and there's a place in Durban where I stay. It's at the Moses Mabhida Stadium, that's what it's called. It has an attached a park which they've called the People's Park. Now out there's a massive stair and a sort of a platform leading up to the stadium, and there's open spaces there, and it's actually polished concrete. It's diamond polished concrete, incredibly smooth, slippery surface. It's not very slippery, but a beautiful surface to drift with. And we actually started drifting there, and then that's how the club was born there. So next time I'm out there, I'll take a few pictures and I'll show you guys the area. It's a beautiful spot, and that's where the East Coast RC Drift Club was born. So shout out to my boy Llewellyn. He's been my pillar of drift strength, if you want to call it that. I've learned so much from him. A lot of what I've learned about drifting all came from him, and he's also very knowledgeable in drifting. Unfortunately, he's moved to another town, and we don't get to drift together anymore, which kind of, when he moved out, it kind of put me in a little bit of depression. But he had to do what he had to do. So, but we do meet up, and so it's all good. It's all good. So come on, guys. Let's hear from more of you guys. Hi, Sam. Thank you for listening. Sam, as you know, is from RC Mart, and RC Mart has been a major role player in giving people access to all the amazing drift goodies that you get from all over the world, and especially the Far East. And RC Mart has also been instrumental in helping a lot of drift teams around the world to progress and pick all of them up and grow the RC community. So shout out to RC Mart, shout out to Sam and Lincoln, and also shout out to DS Racing and all you guys for all you do for the drifting community. Okay, so guys, I don't know, I think I've been talking a bit more than I've spoken yesterday. I really appreciate all you guys who's listened, even if it's just for a few minutes. You guys are the real MVPs. So just remember, the new time slot for the podcast is Mondays at 5:30 p.m. or 5:30 in the afternoon, Central African time. You can catch me there. Follow me on Instagram at Bob_Rock. I follow back. Follow me on Facebook as well. Guys, please message me, send through your feedback to me. I genuinely want to hear from you, what you think of the podcast, what you would like to hear. You guys have any advice for me, perhaps? Or you guys want any advice? Anybody for that matter, no matter what it is, hit me up, send me a message, and I'll respond, and I'll put those questions up. We'll answer them. We'll talk about it. We'll have a nice old chat about it on the next episode 2 on Monday at 5:30 Central African time. Very interesting, Jay. Thank you for responding. We had the same sort of effect this side. A lot of people came watching us, asking us what it's about. They've never seen something like this before, especially in my town. We wanted to grow. When we wanted to grow the club, we actually went through to a lot of the car shows and auto shows that's held in and around the city. And we went there, we asked the organizers, please just give us a small space. This is what we do, and this is what we'd like to promote. If you can help us out, perfect. And they gave us the opportunity to do that. And a lot of members that we found actually just came from watching us. So yeah, that's definitely a really good way, or a really good solution to draw in more people, and that's besides running your own track. So Hey, what's up, Gregory? Thank you, Todd. Guys, once again, please share the link for the guys that just joined in. This is Bob Rock on the B Rock RC Show, a podcast for the drifter by the drifter. You can catch me on Facebook, catch me on Instagram at Bob_Rock. Episode 2 is going to be in a new time slot once again. That's on Mondays, 5:30 p.m., 5:30 in the afternoon, Central African time. Thank you again to everybody for joining in. Catch you next time on episode 2. Peace!